Okay, good afternoon, folks. Hope everyone is well. Happy Monday. We are now well and truly into the Christmas run up, 1st of December. So let's see how we got on this week. So, Karina, good morning to you. I dare say a few people, I've just been looking at Dan's website, and there's a lot of chit chat about Vladdy is. His chat yesterday on the Discord. I think it's fair to say he's certainly a lively character. I don't think there's no argument there. So we'll probably have a chat of that when we get a few more people in. So what's going on at the moment? Is this thing going down? I can see Bookmap at the moment. There are orders up here. So my guess, it's more than likely going to push up and test these highs, I think. But I'm not too sure. Daryl, how you doing, buddy? So I am like trading now. I have got 20 accounts now. I thought I'd top up to the maximum amount. So I'm trading them one a day, one loss, and I'm locked out. So I don't. Why is that? Let me just check. Everything is
order
up.
submitted.
Yeah, I have already checked it.
Order cancelled.
So yeah, I'm at the full amount now. So market is open. It's been open a few seconds. So let's see what's here. So if you look at this, most of this liquidity is up top side. So my guess is this is probably going to push up, but that's just my guess based on, so 18 something. It's hard to say actually, because there are some sell orders here. So my guess is probably going to test these tops. But I'm not sure. I've put that as a channel. Is it just two legs? It's hard to say, which is why I've killed the color. So it's kind of an area of interest rather than a definite channel. But you can see prices here at the moment. There are more. There are some as far as 25, which is here, which breaks this high. So I think that's probably going to happen. No, those are PA accounts, bud. PA accounts. So, Kirk, how you doing, buddy? You're short, are you? Yeah. The only thing I'm thinking along at the moment is because there's slightly more orders above price than below, but at the moment it is kind of going sideways. So, if I was a betting man, I would think I would more like. In fact, I shouldn't say really if you're in a trade, because it's a bit unfair. I don't want to sway you either way. Because I could be completely wrong, and I wouldn't want you to do anything based on what I said. I doubt you would anyway. How you doing, buddy? I'm going to call you Armanas because that's what I know you have. How you doing, mate? So yeah, it is still quite sideways, so it could do either or really. Why is something stopped here? Why is it froze on? Oh no, it's moving. It's moving. It just went a little bit stuck there. It's just a little bit not super clear, isn't it? Which is why I'm kind of leaving it alone at the moment anyway. So anybody watch any of that interview with Vlad? I will say, I don't think he said 3 words in a row without a fucking it, to be honest with you. So he's certainly a lively character. There's no argument there. I did speak to Marco after, and Marco said he's not usually like that. He's a lot more chilled. But he did come over as quite angry, for want of a better word, and a little bit paranoid. I just don't know whether it was just how he was on the stream or what. I don't know, to be honest with you. But it was definitely, it went on for a while. I think I knocked it on the head at about 4 hours. It was getting quite late here in the UK. But it's hard to say you watch part of it. Yeah, you don't know. Now, the way I'll say it, if you're a mouthy bloke, and you can back it up with good trading results, you'll get away with it. But if you're mouthy and you can't trade as well as you make out, it's going to go against you. So it's always one of those things. If you're going to shoot your mouth off, you've got to be able to back it up, type thing. You're not on the Scorts now. Who's it? I think it was just something he set up himself. Now, I think he's had Discord for a while because I asked the question, where was he from? And he effed and blind did say, I don't know how many times I put it in this Discord. Well, I only joined yesterday. I got a link from, I think, did Marco, a couple of people sent me a link. I got one from Marco and I think one from Sean. He did come across as arrogant. Yeah, you can't deny that. He didn't come over very well. And if you're going to make an impression, especially if you're going to charge people $50 a month to be a part of it, you've got to come up a bit better than that, to be honest with you. He did come over as quite blatantly rude at times. Now, I've been around, I'm not a young kid anymore, so I've been around, and sometimes some people do give a certain impression. They're not always like that. But Marco did say that he's not usually like that. So I don't know. Had he had a bad day or something? I don't know. But if he'd have had a bad day and he's a good trader, it shouldn't affect him like that, really, should it? Can sort of make any sense about it? Yeah, not really. That's a fair comment. That is. Yeah. He didn't just come over very well, did he? It was quite confusing in parts. Uh, And the trouble is, he's talking about this, that, and the other, and people's charts aren't right, but he couldn't produce any charts himself. Now, he did say he's not on social media, and I get that impression because he didn't come over as very tech savvy. Now, if you're going to do a Discord for 4 hours and you're going to talk about your trading and what you think people should do, you've at least got to turn up with some charts to show exactly what you're talking about so you can explain to people. Because otherwise, like you say, does anybody make sense out of it? Because it's confusing. Uh, but I, he's going to charge $50, isn't he? I don't think he's going to get as many people now after that interview than he may have done if he'd have, kept his manners a little bit. But it's hard to say, really, isn't it? He says you can insult him. Yeah, I was very tempted to call him a motherfucker then, just for the fun of it, but I thought I better not. I know, yeah. He's a little bit odd, I will say. But if you are going to come over and you are going to do something like that, you at least have to make a good impression. That's the first rule, surely, isn't it? You don't come over and insult people and come over quite paranoid, do you? But, I'll give the bloke the benefit of the doubt. We'll see if he produces the goods. But I don't think he's going to get a huge amount of people join. I think a lot of people are in Dan's. The thing is, I think Dan and Marco are like chalk and cheese compared to him. They're both calm and relaxed. And you would think that is the right attitude you need to be a trader, not what Vladdy came over as. It does make you wonder how the hell you can sit calmly and trade when you can kind of act like that. But I don't know. Posted on the forum. What says the trading stuff? Yes, Max views and shows. Yeah, they're supposed to be good buddies, him and Mac. He did say he traded. I think someone else told me he did. I believe he's on the. Isn't he on the forum at Max? I'm not with Mac at the moment. I've not. I've had 2 years with Mac. The first year and about part the way through the second year. Now, don't get me wrong. I think Mac's an absolute gentleman. So I just hope this guy may come over a little bit better or produce the goods a bit. It's a bit odd, isn't it? What he posted on the forum, what he says about trading is far more realistic. Yeah, I think what's it said it right. Does anybody make any sense of it? It didn't really make much sense. It was a little bit odd, wasn't it? I think. So, right now, as I mentioned, my guess it was going to probably push up. Now, I think, Kirk, I think you went short here, didn't you? So hopefully you got some profit there. But we had kind of this move up, a couple of legs back and up here. Now, I think the only reason I was thinking to the top side is because I could see more liquidity. Not that I would have got in there anyway. It's a little bit too early for me. But there are a lot of buy orders from 20 to 25, so maybe this thing is going to turn into a bigger channel. Give me a sec. 20 to 25, so there's 20 to 25. There are a lot of buy orders there, and I'm guessing 20 is below that bull bar. Yeah, it is 2 ticks below those bars. So there are orders. You can see them there between that area. So this may have a pullback. So there's always that possibility that there's something like that. Now, the facts, it's hard to say, really, isn't it? It's a bit early, I think. Now, we know we push up and then we go sideways until we hit a point and then we push up again. And then so maybe that's a channel, maybe it isn't. Maybe a little bit too early. We'll see. Lots of people references post about sticking to second entries and failures. I kind of like what he was saying. You know, sometimes if you're in a channel and you're not sure we've had a break and it makes 2 legs up, and then we get 2 legs down and a nice second entry long, we've all taken trades like that where it triggers and we get trapped and then it shoots in the opposite direction. So I think those are the types of trades he looks for. Now, if you're confident that you've broken out of a channel and you can see a strong second entry long that triggers and comes down, I think he said he puts his sell order 1 tick below that second entry long, so hitting the stop and then hopefully moving into a move down. So without seeing his charts or watching him trade, it's hard to know. I found it interesting what he was saying about just taking those, but it was pretty hard to get your head around the rest of it because it was just trap after trap after trap. He just went on. It was effing this and effing that and motherfucking this and all that. I don't like to use language. We all do when we've had a beer, maybe, but you don't come over like that when you do some sort of presentation. It's just the oddest thing I've ever sat in front of, really, to be honest with you. Stated he never would enter long. Yeah. See, you know, you said to me the other day, I think I trade Pats. I think we all kind of start with Pats, but kind of find our own, I don't know whether niche is the right word or not, but something that we tend to focus on more because there's, you know, you can take triple tests, you can take failures, you know, higher lows, second entries. There's a bunch of different ones. So, you know, some people might more specialize in a certain way of trading. So I think, you know, maybe that's just his way and that's what works for him. So who knows? Who knows, really? I will listen to the press. Yeah, don't expect too much, but don't get too excited. You may not, you know, I'd probably bet money that you wouldn't sit for the full 4.5 hours. That's for certain. I couldn't take any more, to be honest with you. It was I'm just quite glad I never had any razor blades near me. So it's hard to say. Some people, they can come over a certain way. Now, if he's an absolute brilliant trader, you know, with a talent, then sometimes you can put up with all the BS, can't you? But it's hard to say. So what is going on? I'm not too sure about this at the moment. Maybe there is something, or it could be just a leg with a correction and a leg. This may come down now, or it may not. I really don't know. What I will say is there is kind of like a little micro channel there with a break and a new low. So it's hard to say if you. What I will say is, let me just get rid of this a minute. You can clearly see we're finding some support there. So this may come down to the lows. It's hard to say, really, isn't it? You don't know whether they're going to have a leg down, 2 attempts to push up, followed by another leg down. You don't really know, do we? We did find, excuse me, support there. Let's see if we made a measured leg. Close enough, I think. Sorry about that. Because I think Marco's doing something with him. I did feel a little bit sorry for Marco, to be honest with you. Because Marco is a nice chap. There's no arguing there. Marco's an absolute diamond. He's a really calm, very polite guy. So, but what can you do? So I don't know if you guys have noticed. Can you see all this stuff on this chart? These little, these volume at this area. I've not seen. I think he's just put these on. See these little sort of lines here. How do you know? I've known Marco since I started trading. Well, Pat's 4.5 years ago, because when I first started trading, I went on the Facebook group, which is Marco's, and I posted my chart every day for probably 2 years. And I got loads of feedback, and people like Marco and Dan and a guy called Jope as well were the guys that helped me the most. And we've chatted, via Facebook and stuff like that on and off now for 4.5 years. And I have a little chat with Marco maybe once a week. Just 10-minute chit chat over Facebook, over Messenger or something. Marco's a nice bloke. So I did feel a bit sorry for him, the way Vladdy came over, because I think they are mates, but he did tell me that he's not always like that. So I think he may have surprised Marco actually, but who knows? With bookmap, we can only use the levels, or is there something with the numbers? Not sure what you mean, bud. Oh, you new here, are you? Oh, good on you, mate. Good on you. Welcome anyway. Uh, so, little channel break, new low. You may argue a channel, but we've had a break in a new low. At the moment, it's chopping a little bit around this midline, so I think the order of the day is just not doing much. I've not seen these. He's not put these marked. They do look like volume bars where there was probably a large amount of volume evenly. Seems to be around here. It's hard to say. I'm guessing that's what they are just at first glance, but I wouldn't swear to it. Why do I feel bad? Because I think Marco was looking forward to him coming over as quite well. And I think Marco, I'm just guessing here. I didn't know whether Marco was going to be involved in his Discord. So, I think Marco didn't expect him to come over like that. I'm guessing now. I don't want to speak for Marco, but that's why I felt a little bit sorry for Marco. I posted it in fact, I posted it as a video. I did ask Marco first, and I asked Marco to ask Vlad as well, because I didn't just want to post it without anybody, especially how he came over. I was expecting him to say no, to be honest with you. But yeah, I posted it as a video on my YouTube channel. I posted it on the Facebook group as well, so you can have it. But it goes on for about, I think I stopped at 4 hours. I was just getting a bit late in the evening. I had to pop out. So you can have a listen to it. I wouldn't expect too much. It's a little bit messy. It's not very well put together, but sorry, I just don't know what's going on. Okay, so there's a guy, an American guy. I always thought he was like, I don't know, a sort of Eastern European or something with the name, but he's an American. Well, he certainly comes over as American. Yeah, I don't know what his family background is. But he was mentored by Mac a long time ago, I think 1-to-1. And he's a friend of Mac's. And Mac helped him. I think he's been trading 12 years, and I think he's helped Marco a bit as well. And I believe he's in something to do with Mac's forum. I'm not with Mac's group at the moment. In other words, I've not signed on for his website for another year. I've done 2 years over the last. I may go back and I think it's good to go over the basics now and again. But he started a Discord, and I think he was on about charging people $50 to be part of the Discord. I think he was going to trade live on Fridays. So there was a few links going around where you could listen to it. And I think Marco posted one, and I think it ran out of date. So I messaged Marco, and he sent me another link. I think it was him or Sean. I got links from both. And it just come over. He just sounded quite brash, a little bit paranoid, quite angry. Every third word was effing this or that. So it just come over a bit odd. So I posted it because a couple of people, I know Sean said, can I post it? So I just posted it as a video on my YouTube thing. just to, everyone kind of can have their own opinion then, really. Wilson, man, you smell. Smelly dog here. Eric mentorship Marco for 9 months and Taylor. Yeah, I don't know whether they all know each other, to be honest with you. I never spent much time in Max Forum, in all honesty. Most of my time was in Marco's Facebook group, getting help from him and Dan, I think. So, Little Hammer, how you doing, buddy? I'm all right, mate. How are you? So what was your opinion then? I was looking forward to today, actually, just to find out what people's opinions were. But it was certainly very different, wasn't it? So, see those few orders there at 25. I wouldn't be surprised if this possibly has a bounce here and may go up. That, I think you could probably argue, is one channel up. So it may bum and push, I'd say. Yeah, it wasn't quite what I what I was expecting. I was sat here really looking forward to hearing an amazing story and connecting with another quality trader. So I had a nice whiskey with me, and it was just a bit weird, to be honest with you. What can you say? I know I went downstairs, and my wife said, "What did you think?" Then I went, "I don't really know what to say." What can you do? Sometimes we do these things, and they're not quite what we expect. But it was a bit odd. I'll tell you something now. If you listen to it, he could not speak 3 words in a row without one of them being a swear word. It was weird. It was a bit weird. But just for the hell of it, go and watch 30 minutes and see what you think. Well, I say watch this. It's a picture really of a Discord, so there's not really much to watch. Really, it's all kind of listening. I don't want people to Yeah. All I can say is he better be a damn good trader after that, I think. You know what it's like. You're from the UK. You've all heard the thing. If you if you shoot your mouth off, you better be good at what you're saying. You can get away with it. We all see the likes of Conor McGregor, who stands in a ring and shoots his gob off. When you can back it up, you can get away with it. But whether he can or not, I don't know. Do I really want to pay $50 to find out? That's the question. That's the $1,000,000 question. I would like to see him trade live just to see what he's got to say. I can look over the kind of unusual personality. The way I see it, if someone's good at, when you're learning to trade, sometimes you've got to, step outside your comfort zone. You've got to do things, and so I'd probably join it for a month and just see what he's like, see what he says, see what he does. But if he does trade live on a Friday and he's extremely good at what he does, then I'll probably pay attention, regardless of what I think about him personally. So, Karina, yeah, see, most people I know in trading, most of you guys have only ever come over nice, politely, and friendly. Because to be honest with you, that's the way most people generally are. But there's always an exception to the rule. So that bearish bar there, I wouldn't take that as a failure because we got some strong orders at 35. It's triggered that bearish bar and it's pushing up. Now, it may not get there, but I have a sneaking feeling it probably will. So we've got a channel there with a break. 1, 2 pushes to a new high. Started a Discord. His lifestyle is edited. Yeah, exactly. Why would you put up with all the stresses and hassles? He did say that he doesn't do social media at all, so he's not tech savvy. So I started a Discord for a while. That was before Jan did it, and to be honest with you, there was people getting spam left, right, and centre because I haven't got a clue what I'm doing, to be honest. So I stopped it in the end. So why have all that hassle if you're earning an absolute stack of money? Surely you'd be off enjoying your life, wouldn't you? That's not to say he doesn't. Some people like the attention. Some people, he may want to help. Who knows? Uh, he's certainly helped a few people, but at first impressions, certainly wasn't what I expected. Put it that way. Sean, how you doing, matey? Have you tried using snap mode? No. How do I do it, mate? How do I do it? Is it near somewhere? He did talk about snap mode. Snap mode apparently helps. There you go. Which one do I do it for? So it's on bar at the moment. Let me take a photo so I don't forget it. It's on bar at the moment. Okay. Can't remember what he said to do. Apparently, this helps you draw. It's a great observation. Questions. I'll chat. I have a question for you. Was that downtrend played out with a break and a new low? Which one you on about, mate? This one here? There's buying pressure at the moment. Yeah, it's hard to say at the moment. All I'm saying is, if I look at 37.5 and 40, they're strong sellers. Now, there were strong sellers there, but they seem to be, so sometimes they just get absorbed. He treated like a dad. Yeah, I think he did with me as well. I laughed about something completely. You know what it was? Is my wife came upstairs and showed me a picture of it's like a toy box with a young girl on there about 8 in a straitjacket. It's like a kid's straitjacket for naughty people. She came up with that and she said we could have done with that when my daughter was young, just as a joke. And that's why I laughed. And then he got a bit paranoid and said, Who's that effing laughing? I don't know. It was a bit strange. Go to pencil icon and choose snap mode. Which one though, bud? Because there's a few of them, isn't there? Which one do I select on? Tick? Let's have a go at tick. I'm on bar at the moment. Let's get rid of this and see if I can try it again. Let's try and change it. Does it make any difference? That's what I hate. I don't know, mate. Does it make any difference? Can you tell? No, laughing. They just got no. Yeah. Remember. Yeah. So I can't really see much different, mate. To be fair. Let's swap it back over. Swap it back over. So it's a pencil snap mode. I had it on bar. Bar and tick. I'm sure he said something like bar and tick. Have a look. I can't see any different. What I will say, I wonder if it's anything to do. Sometimes when it like this and it moves out a bit, this thing automatically clicks over. Have you ever noticed that? I find it annoying, really. It's almost like the chart knows that it's at a break. I'm not too sure, really. Let me put it back for a second. I'll find out again in a minute. So it was on bar, wasn't it? So, uh, choose bar or tick. Okay, both. Okay, yeah. So I've got mine on bar. I'm pretty sure mine's on bar. It is, isn't it? Yeah, bar. Yeah. Okay. Do you know what? It might be. Sometimes if you do that, when we have a little break, sometimes this thing just pops to the left or right, doesn't it? Perhaps that's it. Perhaps we already had that. Trouble is, if you're going to do something like under Discord, you at least have a bunch of charts to show people what you're talking about. It's almost impossible to try and describe to somebody uh, exactly what you're talking about. So, yeah, okay. So news. We've got some news coming up in about 2 minutes. What is it? ISM manufacturing. Yeah. So make sure you're make sure you are flat. So 45. So there is some at 45. Now, I don't necessarily think when it hits these sell levels that it will sell off. All I'm looking to do is just give me a sense of where it's likely to go. When it gets there, that doesn't concern me too much. So, if you see these and ISO, there's some sellers up there, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to hit them and come back. They could get absorbed and continue up. All I put those for is to give me an idea down here where price is likely to go, and it did. So if you were to get into a short or a higher low here, and you saw strong sellers up here, that may be a good indication that you may be making the right decision. You see what I mean? So that's, don't get confused with me thinking the thing's going to sell off when it hits these levels. Sometimes it does if there's enough sellers, but it's more just to get a direction that this hasn't played out here and is going to start doing this. You know what I mean? Ignore it. Point out too broad. Yeah. Yeah. See, yeah, he talks about broad types of channels. And I kind of like, just trying to find a good example. This type of thing. Now, you may argue, channels work like that, don't they? They pull back, they pull back. Now, this, to me, it does look like a channel, actually, but they are quite broad, those moves. Now, the broader the move, the less you can confuse it as a channel. That one, I would prefer that leg a little bit further down. So I think that's what you mean. But anyway, that type of thing. Now, I wouldn't necessarily confuse that as a channel because there's no kind of bounce here. So that would be two legs to me. So I would expect then to move back to that EMA. So a trade here or a second entry, that's a possibility. But then what's happened previously, you've got to take into consideration. If we bounced about 16 times here, then that might be a better chance that it's going to go down. So it's not black and white trading, is it? There's so much grey area, which is why that's where it comes down to pure experience, really. Just, month after month, year after year, watching these charts and trading them. And you slowly but surely make mistakes, learn from them, and get better. With bookmap, use levels. With bookmap, are only levels use something with the numbers. Sorry, mate, you mentioned that earlier. Are you on about these numbers here? Is that what you mean, bud? Because all these numbers here really are just the current price. I think that's what you mean. They're the only numbers I can see at the moment. I'm not paying attention to anything else. But these, like 6842 is just currently where we are now. Yeah. All I use those numbers for, I can see those lines there at 45, which is there. You see what I mean? So all they are really, yeah, you're quite new, aren't you? So sorry about that, mate. I didn't make myself clear enough. But yeah, all these are is the current price. That's the current price. So you can see we're floating around the 40 at the moment. You can see it on here. So my chart is basically doing the same thing. Now there may be a couple of 3 seconds behind on bookmap. You'll probably see it on my chart before you'll see this, because I have my YouTube set. What's it called? I've got it low latency. I used to have it ultra low latency. So sometimes there's a few seconds between, what you see and what I say. But that doesn't matter too much. I don't need up to date. All I want to know is where these areas are, and you can see them there. There's very little. Okay. See, this has all gone black here. That's because of the news, but there's not many orders here. It's quite black. The orders are up at 45. So this is 2 legs back. So my guess is this is more than likely going to push up there unless we get a massive aggressive sellers hitting that sell button. So I think this is more likely going to go up. Now, if we get a bull bar here, I'm going to wait for a higher low because I'm going through a stage of being paranoid. So, but I think there's a fair chance. Now, there's another thing to consider here. You can see this at 45, price never broke through it. It pulled back. And we've tried we've tried a few times. So there's always a possibility it may not get up there. And it may sell off. It's hard to say at the moment. So trading isn't an exact science. The best way to learn to trade is to get on a simulator and take what you believe to be a setup. And whether you win or lose, you'll learn from it. It does take a long time. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've been trading now for 5 years, and I'm now starting to become consistent. But it's taken to this year, really. I still have my issues, where I do stupid things. But I'm putting things into place to hopefully settle the beast. So, for want of a better word. Now, you can see these orders here around about 33. So I wouldn't take a long here, even if I wanted to. There's no system here. My guess is this is probably going to come down and bounce here. They're quite strong, those orders. So if there was a bull bar here, seeing those down there, I would leave this. Let's see if it comes down and breaks below there and hits this level. There's always the possibility it won't. In fact, they've orders that have been yanked. Can you see the orders have disappeared? They're not there now. There's some just above price. So there's some, well, right where price is now. Okay. So, yeah, there was a few sell orders that hit, but it did anyway. So if you wouldn't have got in there, I don't think, anyway. There was nothing really good. But I did say you can see on Bookmap we've tried here and a few times, and we couldn't quite get up. So there's always a possibility it may not go up. If we get enough aggressive sellers all of a sudden selling now, this may come down because you may have buyers trapped there. At the moment, I'm a bit unsure as to what I think's going on. There's orders down here. You can see that yellow line there around about 32, maybe just under. So about there. Buyers there. So at the moment, I'm just not super sure. Good trade seem crazy. Logical. Yeah. Directions, man. Absolutely. Directions, everything. It's context. That's half the battle, figuring out which direction it's getting. And then when you're confident of a direction, looking for a setup. So it's kind of like a double challenge on your hand. And then it's looking for all the possible congestion and stuff like that, which it's not easy. It does take a long time. So here at the moment, I can see orders there at around about the 39-ish, which is there. And I can see orders at here at about 32. So that tells me there are orders above and below. So that's why it's going a bit sideways. It can't push up and it can't quite get down. So it's rattling sideways. Now, the orders are probably a bit stronger further up because you've got these and this. And these sellers up here do act like magnets. The more of them there are, more chance it's got of going up. But there's always it's never that straightforward, is it? This little box here with the red and these are the buyers and sellers here, and this gives you a kind of a balance of, is there more sellers showing at the moment? But all these orders are orders that are sat here like this.
Order
They're
submitted.
passive orders. Now, if this was a live account, my order would be sat wherever I put it, like that, with the rest of them.
Order cancelled.
But you've got to take into consideration people who go, I want to sell here, and just hit the sell button. That it doesn't show. It will show these little bubbles here, but they kind of happen instantly. Whereas these orders here, these passive orders, have been sat there for maybe 5-10 minutes. So see how price is a bit congested here now. So there are orders down here and there are orders up here. There are slightly more orders further up. So if I had to guess, I would say it's got more chance of getting above this line here to the 40s. But it is, you can clearly see it's a little bit congested, but there are more. You can see there's a chunk of sellers up here and it's sellers down here. There's only a bunch of buyers down here. The rest of them are a little bit not that strong, so price might not mention too much about them. So you can see the orders there and a little bit higher and what's happening. It's hitting them. So now it'll either absorb and push through if there's enough buyers, or it may hit them and then sell. It's hard to say. Looks like a larger channel working its way up. Let's have a look. I've got it here somewhere. Yeah, it's hard to say. Is that what you mean? I probably wouldn't. I probably wouldn't go with that at the moment. Uh, the I think the trouble with these bigger channels, Vlad did say yesterday, focus on the smaller channels, which I agree with. If you were trading this as a channel, now this channel here, this small channel here, we're looking for a bounce off the bottom. Now, if you were trading this as a big, you would be waiting for it to come right down here. Whereas there could be something smaller here. So sometimes these bigger ones don't, they may give you a bit of guidance, but they don't necessarily show you what's doing in the sort of short term. And it's the short term, especially scalping for 2 to 3 points, is where we can kind of make money. So you can see these sellers down here around about 32, slightly below, and it looks to me about there like we may come down here. Now, there'll be liquidity there. There's bound to be some buyers there, 2 legs down. And the reason I say and there's maybe buyers in there because it's a little bit congested and traders might buy that as a failure. Sorry, as a failed breakout. So that is certainly vulnerable, but you never know. So it is difficult trading. Speedy, how you doing, buddy? It does take a long time. I got to say, it's by far the hardest job I have ever done in my life by a mile. You know, it's mind crippling. It will affect you. I'd rather be honest with newer people because I'd rather you not get a shock, but it will affect your mood. You can go through periods of time of feeling down and a bit depressed. I've been in tears twice over the last 5 years. And I'm not necessarily a teary type of person. But it can really test you mentally. So, just expect it. But at the end of the day, you can earn significant amounts of money as a trader. And if money was that easy, every man and his dog would be trading. And that's why they have a high failure rate, because people can't put up with it and they give up. Not because people aren't capable. So if you're finding it hard, don't think I'm going to give up. I'm not capable of doing it. You just haven't given it long enough. Also, don't be under the illusion that you need to be some sort of a intelligence guru. You don't at all. You could have the most basic of educations, and anybody can do this. And I mean, anybody can learn to do this. It's not difficult, as in, you tend to associate finance with, young, sprightly lads who've just come out of university with degrees hanging around their neck. Not the case. Absolutely not. I was a bricklayer before I started doing this. I've also driven trucks. So, I've got a very basic education. So don't be under the illusion that you need to be some sort of a education genius. Absolutely not. You can learn this stuff, laddie. But he's not right about everything. He's a jerk to people. Give you that, yeah. No need to talk to people that way. No, there isn't really. There isn't. That's what surprised me, actually. After a while, I found it more entertaining than anything else. I was kind of, when I was listening to it, I was thinking this is going to make for some really interesting conversations over the coming week. See, Marco's talking about him now. He helped me with a psychological part when I was really trashed. So, some people come over as harsh and brash, but Marco did say to me he doesn't usually come over like that. So, I don't know. Maybe he was trying to make an impression. Who knows? Who knows? What do you think of a bus driver as a job? As far as I'm concerned, if you get your ass out of bed in the morning and go to work and earn money, I don't care what you do, I've got respect for you. Because there are so many people that just can't be asked in life. I don't care whether you're a cleaner or you work at McDonald's. If you go out, you earn money and you pay for your wife and your family and look after yourself, you've got my respect. In fact, I admire people who do maybe cleaning jobs that they think are a little bit, a little bit sort of, some people clean the streets and stuff. A lot of people look down on them. I admire people who do stuff like that because, as far as they're concerned, a job's a job. Uh, Bus driver good depends on where you live. I know like in the UK, the big thing at the moment is a shortage of truck drivers. Now, I spent about 11 years driving an oil truck, picking up base oil from Stanlow Oil Refinery in the UK. And the one thing I liked about it is I was getting paid to see the country. I had no one breathing down my neck. I'm on my own. I don't mind my own company. And you kind of have your breaks when you want. You listen to your music or whatever you want to do. So I didn't mind it as a job. But when I went from bricklaying, see, I was bricklaying Monday to Friday. I was working from about 7:30 to about 4:30, and I'd come home, I'd have my dinner, and then I'd trade for 3 or 4 hours. And then when I started getting a little bit of affiliate money and the odd payment, I gave up the bricklaying and went back to driving. Like, I think I did Friday, Saturday, Sunday over the weekend. You earn a bit more money over the weekend just because of the unsociable hours. And then I was trading full time then, sort of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So, but I get emails every day now. Last one I had, let me have a look. The last one I had, there we go. Emails already. You can see them. So, £20 an hour, Wolverhampton Class 1, Royal Mail contract block bookings available, £20 an hour. You can earn there's another one, £21 an hour. There's another one, £21 an hour. 20 to 23, 20 to 28. So if you work weekends, you can earn 23, 24, £25 an hour. So for sitting on your bum driving, it's pretty reasonable, to be honest with you. So, from a driver's point of view, if I was going to drive, I would rather go with trucks than buses. I wouldn't want to spend a lot of time with a bunch of people. I kind of like being on my own, really, with the driving, because if you make a screw up, you got no one looking at you. But yeah, I know there's definitely a shortage of drivers. There has been for a long time in the UK. Do you know what? It used to annoy me the way some employers used to pay you. You've got massive responsibility. When you're fully loaded, you're driving 44 tons. That's like 44 cruise missiles doing 60 miles an hour. You won't want to get hit by a truck. I assure you, they can completely wreck lives. You've got a massive responsibility. We've all had, I'll tell you a quick story. When I was driving trucks, I would go from where I live in Shrewsbury up to Stanlow Oil Refinery. So I would drive up to Chester and I would get on the M54 motorway and I would do about 8 miles. And then I would get to Stanlow. Now, my truck at the time, my Arctic at the time, was an automatic. So the previous day, they were short of drivers. So they sent me down to South London with a load of barrels of oil in a rigid truck with a gear stick. And I'm used to automatic. So I spent about 10, 12 hours with a gear stick. And then when I went back onto my tanker in the morning, I went up to Cheshire, went on the slip road, came out to the motorway and put the handbrake on. I thought I was changing to like 8th gear and then I would put my cruise control on. In effect, what I did is I put the handbrake on and I slid all over the motorway. When I came back the other way in the afternoon, I saw big black streaks up the motorway. So we all make mistakes in a job. But if you make mistakes while you're driving 44 tons, you can wreck people's lives. So it is a massive responsibility. And people kind of underestimate that. I know a guy, a friend of my brother's I met maybe 8, 10 years ago, and he was working, he was doing some European stuff, and he was working in France, and I don't know the ins and outs of it, but he hit a family up the backside and killed 3 people, went to prison for. Now, he's not a murderer, he's just a normal guy. He got distracted for whatever reason. We all get distracted, we all make mistakes. But unfortunately, his mistake cost him living with the lives of 3 people and 2 years in prison. He gave up driving after that. So it's a big responsibility. So yeah, for sure. I don't know which is a bigger responsibility. I suppose buses, I would have said coaches or buses. Uh, but yeah, absolutely. So, but I've done a bunch of different jobs. I have, but I've got to say, I've never really liked working for people. Now that make me sound a bit ignorant, but what I mean is, a lot of these companies you work for, they give you all this bullshit about, you know, they make out they care about you. All they're on about is making their own dreams come true and lining their own pockets. They don't care about you. A lot of them. I'm not saying there's not some good bosses out there. I've had some, uh, but I've never enjoyed working for other people. So I love this. I love the fact that I've got my freedom back. I can, I can finish now if I want. How many jobs could you just decide one day to take a month or 2 or 6 months off work? You can't, and then come straight back to work in 6 months, and your job's there waiting for you. They don't exist. Uh, so is this a channel down? Not sure about this because it's still very choppy. So you never know. You decide to get in, and it decides to do that. So I'm just sitting tight at the moment. Uh, so just looked at someone else on the Downs Discord, and they've got that. How do I feel about that? It's not too bad actually. It's nice on the bottom, doesn't it? So I'll probably go with that. Uh, so what I will see on Bookmap, there's loads of orders up here, and there are some down below. So uh, carefully, see these orders here around about 31 and a half. That tells me this may pull back. Now there's strong orders down here, but I think this is going to have a bit of a pullback, or it certainly could to maybe this area. But there's strong orders down below, so it may just drop out the bottom. Who knows? You can see those orders. I believe that's VWAP there. So usually VWAP, I don't know too much about it in all fairness. So, but I do believe it acts kind of like the EMA does in a way, as a kind of a magnet where it may bounce. And if we're looking at the moment, it's having a bit of a bounce off there, isn't it? You can see these big sell orders at 30. They're getting yanked. I know this. About there. I would prefer them up here if I was thinking about taking a short, to be honest with you. Actually, there is some more up here. So there are some at 30, which is there. And there are some here. There's nothing you can really do down here at the moment, in all fairness. Can't believe how quick Christmas is coming round. About every hour on the hour, we're having a knock on the door from Amazon. And then before you know it, we'll be into 2026. Trust me, make the most of it. I'm 56 now, and every year just seems to go quicker and quicker. See, those orders at 30, I wouldn't want a short there. It's just too far from here. Trouble is, there's possibly an overshoot here, so sometimes that can result in a a bigger pullback or a deeper correction. You look for price. It's a good question, that actually, mate, because he mentioned that yesterday. Not that I want to use him as an example all the time, but he was talking about that yesterday. So we had two legs down here. If that was a bullish bar and it pushed up there and came straight down, I would say that's reaction, vice versa. It's not something I've really thought about that I can recall. But I did earmark it. In fact, I made a few notes. I did make a note of that. Keep an eye out for rejection. I know Dan's mentioned that a few times, looking for rejection. So, yeah, it's certainly something to pay attention to, isn't it? The trouble is, I think there's so much going on in your head. It's hard to individually pinpoint something that you specifically do. It reminds me, as I've said before, like driving, so much of it is kind of automatic in the background. That, you know, the little tiny little decision makings, you know, we all drive down the road and we're constantly going like that, aren't we, with the steering wheel? But you're not really thinking about it. It's just kind of happening in the background. You don't restrict yourself to one trade a day. Yes, now I do. Yes. Part of the reason is I rarely take more than one anyway. And I have now I'm trading 20 accounts. So I got 20 accounts. They're all PA accounts on the go here. So now I'm trading 20 accounts. I've got my guardian angel trader to lock me out after one losing trade. The only slight preference is if I come out for break even, there's a little bit of flexibility of $25. So if I come out for break even and I lose a tick, it will still allow me to take another trade. I still don't like taking trades, and I think sometimes my trade choice drops, or my trade strictness level drops a little bit after a loss. So for me, the simple answer is one trade. If it's a loss, I'm out for the day. That way I don't have to worry about that dropping, because we all know later than the evening or the following day, you've forgotten all about it, haven't you? And not only that, if we were taking 4, 5, 6 trades a day as standard, I couldn't do that. But, you know, it's rare I take that many trades anyway, really. He takes one a day. I think that's about right for me personally. I know Marco and Dan probably more or less the same. It depends. Some days you'll see a couple of, you know, I took a trade, I think a couple of weeks ago. I took 2 trades in the space of 2 minutes. I can't remember the last time that happened. You don't distract yourself. Don't restrict yourself on trades. I think about like that. Did yeah? I mean, I restrict myself to one loss, because I think what you got to do as a trader, you got to look at your weaknesses, and my weaknesses are still taking a loss. So I think the simple answer is if it is affecting me, if I am dropping my standards after a loss, I think sometimes the best thing to do is just to get out for the day. But with this type of strategy, we don't take a lot of trades anyway, so I don't necessarily think I'm, you know, boycotting myself to earn less money because there's way more trades to take, because in my opinion, there isn't. We don't see a lot of great trades, I don't think. Would stop after one loss. I would never lose a PA. Yeah. Not only that, little hammer as well. Think about this. If you know you can only take one loss in a day, I think your discipline would be better into wait for something really good quality. And that's what, you know, I will pick a few positive things that Vlad said. He did say he does one trade a day and he sits and waits for perfect trade. I think that is a sensible way of doing it. You know, regardless of what I think about the guy. And I think that is a good, it's good values to hold, that is, and to think about just one quality setup. Because if you're taking two or three setups, in my opinion, you're going to take more losses. And if you take a loss, you're probably going to take 1.5 trades just to get back to where you were. So I think it's always best to miss a trade if it's not really good. And for me, I can tell when I see a good trade because I go, I like that. And I click the button straight away. There's no question in it. I like it. So I know I get that little feeling in my head. I like that. So those are the types of trades I try and wait for. It doesn't always work. You know, the trouble is when you're trading quite fast moving markets and things are changing very quickly, it's very easy to just get a little bit impulsive. And while I'm mentioning that, I need to stop trading with my finger on the mouse. I tend to have it in my hand constantly. I think sometimes it's not bad practice to get your hand off it because you've only got to click that button. A little bit excited in the wrong way. I'll trade more than one. Then you go, yeah. I don't really revenge trade, but I can feel the slight. Sometimes I'm okay, but other times I can feel that urgency to try and take another trade to get it back. So now, whether that's just habit or whatever, but what I will say is if you restrict yourself to one trade a day, the chances are you're not going to blow an account. And after a period of time, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, you'll see your accounts are growing. And it did happen with me. That last payment I had, I think I had 2/8, which was 16, and I had 1,500. So I had 17,500, and I was trading, I think, about 9 Apex accounts and 5 Traderify accounts. And I traded them properly. And I ended up having $17,500 that month. And it took me about 2.5 months to trade them to that level. So if you trade things properly, you will make money. Now, obviously, you need some skills. So you need to have 2, 3, whatever, time with your strategy to get it. Some people probably do it quicker than others. But the simple answer is if I'm finding the urgency to come back in after a loss, I think the best thing to do is to get myself out for the day. Now, if I take a loss earlier on, I may go onto a sim or something like that because I think it's still worth trying to get a couple of hours at least of screen time because obviously over the months and the years, the more screen time you have, generally you're going to become a better trader. You're going to understand things. Uh, grab any good Black Friday deals. Yes, mate, I'm going to show you. Sit tight. I wanted to treat myself. Right, it's supposed to be hidden. I'm not supposed to know. Well, I do know about it. I bought it, but it was with the wife's permission, of course. I had a drone a bunch of years ago. I've always been interested in aircraft and stuff like that. Bit of photography. So I had a drone a bunch of years ago and smashed it into some trees. So that was a good offer. I think it was I don't know, about 199 and they had 145 quid off it or something. So I thought I'd treat myself. At the moment, I don't really do anything that's fun. I've got no kind of, I don't get out much. Quite a sad life, really. So I thought I'd treat myself, get out a bit, get out and get some fresh air and have a bit of fun. So, yeah, I got a good deal on that. So, trouble is, when you're shopping now and Christmas shopping, I'll tell you what, if Amazon go bust, we're screwed. I don't know what the hell we do. Is it dangerous letting one company more or less take over the world when it comes to shops? That's a nice one, lads. I bought a nice scotch. Would be on the cards. I have 3 bottles downstairs at the moment, mate. I've got a 14-year-old bottle of a 14-year-old bottle of Balvenie, the rum cask one. Yesterday, I had a good offer actually on a bottle of what's it called? I'm blank. Hold on, I won't get it. I want a drink of it actually. Port Charlotte. I've been eyeing this up for a long time. It's normally about £55, but I got this on offer for I think about 39. It's heavily peated. This one, I like my peated. It's also 50%. So that's probably the strongest whiskey I've ever had. I think. Maybe. Yeah, I think so. Usually, I like the. I'm only gonna have once. Uh, Usually, I think some of the you've got the purists. See, most whiskies they sort of water down, don't they, to about 40%. But the purists like the cask strength one, which that one is. So I've got that one at the moment. I've got the 14-year-old Balvenie, and I got a 12-year-old Glenfiddich. Got your morning coffee. Yeah, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, I like my Peter did this. This is well, I've I have had a drink of this from a bar in town where I live. Maybe I think it was last Christmas. Uh, but yeah, it says heavily peated. This one, it's from Islay, where a lot of the peated whiskies are, like the Lafroigs and stuff like that. They're from Islay, and I think the Arbegs are from Islay as well. But it's an acquired taste of peated one. My wife uh, drinks nearly as much whiskey as me, but she just can't do the peated ones. I remember the first peated one I had. I thought it was absolutely disgusting, but a whiskey guy I know who runs a little shop in our local town said every day just have a little sip of it. And he pressed it, grew on me. Tell you what, that's a cracking drone. Big price tags. What's in it? That's really for me. Glad you got a good chunk of money. Thanks, mate. I appreciate that, Ben. It's the latest one. This is the Pro 5, but I've had I think two drones in the past. The one I ended up crashing, but I sold one for a computer when I started trading for a little laptop. But the rules, I didn't realize the rules of all trade changed in the UK. You didn't used to be able to fly over houses or groups of people. But now you can. They've got what they call the sub 250 grams. So if it's under 250 grams, you can more or less fly them anywhere within reason. Obviously, any types of airports and that, there's rules there. But you can fly this anywhere. So if you want to fly it in your garden, above houses, there's no problem. So it's nice and small and compact. It's the Fly More, so there's 3 batteries with it, a nice little bag. It's only small, really. It's kind of looks like a toy, really, but they are good fun. And they've also got, this particular one's got a 1-inch sensor. If anybody's ever done any photography, obviously the bigger the sensor, the more kind of light it brings in. And you get some fantastic video off them, really, nowadays. So we've got some sellers up here just above 25, which is around about, let's call it 25 and a half-ish here. There's clearly something working down there. So we've got a channel there with a break. You have FPV, do you? So you got the goggles and that, yeah. Now, funnily enough, actually, I built a drone maybe 7 or 8 years ago. Uh, Actually, maybe a bit more than that. It's quite a big thing. It was off one of I think the Chinese websites. It was kind of like a carbon fiberish frame with these arms, and you buy I think they call the ESCs or something, which is the little power bit that go in each, and you buy the motors and you buy the little flight controller and all that sort of stuff. And I had a go at building one, but it's nothing compared to these. I mean, DJI rule the world really uh, when it comes to drones. There's no one else can touch them at the moment. So got orders there at around about 28ish, which is about there. There's not much further up. So, but yeah, the FPV ones, they go like shit off a shovel, don't they? Them things with the goggles and stuff. I'm more into, because I used to do a little bit of photography. So I kind of like the videos and the pictures and, more of the graceful flying around as opposed to driving around like a bat out of hell. See those orders at 30 now, can't you? So can you see how this works, though? You can see where these orders are. Price goes towards it. So if we had a second entry short here and you could see those masses of orders, it's a good reason to leave that alone. And surprisingly enough, it saves you taking a lot more losses. So we seem to be testing this area here. Is that? Now that is tempting. But I'm leaving it alone because there are still orders at 30 and a little bit above. Now, part of me thinks that's going to push down because there's a channel there with 2 legs up. But the fact that we've still got orders, they're not as strong as they were. They're not very strong, and this thing may go down if enough sellers get in here. But I'm going to sit tight here because there are orders at 30, which is 1 tick above that bearish bar. They're not huge, but see how they're starting to get a bit more red. Now, that is going to trap a lot of traders. Having said that, I don't think that's a bad trade, to be honest with you. But just because that's there, that's why I'm leaving it alone. It is a channel break, new heights, 2 really nice legs, so it may work. Trouble is, these orders here, 1 minute they're there, next minute people go, it's coming down now, we'll cancel them. But you can see them, they're still red. Now, if you look here, there's about, 86 orders. They're strong. Around here, everything's generally under that. But if we get a lot of sellers here, it may still go down. But I'm sitting tight here just because of what I'm seeing up here. I don't think it was the worst. Well, put it this way, a trade, 2 legs like that, you expect it to get back to the EMA. But there's no guarantees it's going to push through the EMA and come down. So we're actually moving up a bit now, so it may still hold. But there's not a huge amount of orders down here, but there are still slightly stronger ones at 30. And where is 30? 1 tick above that bearish bar. Is that just by chance? Not really. Now, if all of a sudden aggressive sellers may think they like that and they want to sell here, regardless of the orders up here, it may come down. So if I'd have taken that trade, which I may have done in the past, it went down 2 points. So you'd have got, in fact, probably a bit less than that. You'd have got 1.5 off it. Now, it still may come down. 25, there's buyers, strong buyers at 25. So not only are there sellers up here, there are buyers here. So that natural pull from the sellers and maybe a few more buyers pushing may push it up. Right. Okay. So this one, the only slight difference between this one is if you go into, where is it? If you go into here, which says data series, I've got where it says break at end of day deselected here. And what that does is it gives a slight variation in the bars. And sometimes if the context is good, but the signal bar isn't, it may be better on this or vice versa. So that's the reason why some people, I think it's just called a tick offset or something like that. I don't really know, but so what am I looking here? It's hard to say, really. We are getting slightly more aggressive sellers. You can see they're a little bit more than the buyers. It's hard to say. If we get enough sellers, it'll just push through that and absorb this and come down. But while they're there at 30, which is not a million miles away, see, someone's adjusted that to there, which it's possible. Trouble is, we've got an overshoot then, unless you bring that down here. Trouble is, you can carry on adjusting this chart to fit. So for me, I'm just going to leave things as it is just at the moment. So see, those orders are getting stronger and stronger above there now. That's price is slowly getting pulled up, 30 and above. So about 30 to 32-ish. So there are strong sellers up here. So my guess is this is going to push up, stop out that. So if you adjusted that channel and you got in short there, you might just get stopped out. It may hold. We've tried once, twice. It's hard to say. If you get a lot of sellers here, that may push price down. If you get a lot of buyers, it may just pop up, but you can bet there's going to be some stops above there, and that is resting liquidity. That's why you've got strong sellers up here, because they're going to say, if we push up above there, this is where I'm more likely going to get in. Are we above it? I think we are by a tick, aren't we? Yeah, I was expecting a bit more there. So there is a tick above there. I still think it'll push a bit higher. So although that looked nice, that wouldn't have worked for me. I'd have lost that. And it didn't look too bad. There are times where I'd have taken that trade. Not only would it not have worked by a tick, it was a fair sized bar. So if I went a tick above it and a tick below it, I'd have lost about 4.75 points. But often it'll do that, take you out for a tick and then move in the same bloody direction that you wanted it to, which is absolutely infuriating. But I can still see orders up here in this area. So it's hard to say. Yeah. Now, if you'd have been scalping for a point there with Mac, you'd have got away with that, but it wouldn't have worked for me. So if you'd have got in, say, a tick below it, it went down to there in the end. So you would have got about 2.25 points out of it. But luckily, so for me, 2 legs up. This wasn't a move down to test the lows. It pulled back twice, took the stop out, and then obviously it's making its mind up now. So for me, and that's the beauty about being able to see this above you. Now, you don't have to pay for Bookmap. I'm not paying for it. This is just on YouTube channel, some guy's YouTube channel that posts it every day. So you don't need to buy it. So you can just watch it. But if it helps you stay out of the odd trade, it's worthwhile looking. It takes a little bit of time to get used to it, like anything does, but it's very tempting. I absolutely think channel down there like that, 2 nice legs up, bearish bar. We've pushed above any previous liquidity, including that and that. I get the reason to short that. But really, although you might have got a bit out of it, it generally didn't work. So that's kind of why. See, now there's always a possibility that that's the channel and there's an overshoot which may create a bigger correction. But there's your correction. You can argue there's your correction and you would go short. We've had a break out the bottom. You know, how many times in a range do we have a break out the top and a break out the bottom? You kind of almost always get it to a degree. And that's kind of the same. We have a break out the bottom. We had a break out the top. Very similar size, 2 legs. I get the reasoning behind taking a short there. But because I could see that resting liquidity up there, that's why I stayed out of it, and it saved me neck. Now, at the moment, can you see this price above here? And you can see there's a fair amount below here. And what's price doing? It's going sideways. So those orders are around about the 23, which is there. So look at that. You've got buyers here and sellers here. And what's happening? Because there's relatively even amount, price is going sideways. So, you know, looking at this does give you an idea of you know, where price is more likely going to go. So still worth zooming out though. So we may have that leg down and then a second leg down. I don't know at the moment. It's a bit hard to say. Some days it's just not super clear. Excuse me. Wilson, shush that. Sorry about that. Good. I think it's definitely Amazon season, isn't it? Doors constantly knocking. So those orders are up as far as about 33, which is around about there-ish. Excuse me, just a second. Okay, so price push right through that. And they're further up here as well. So it does seem that maybe that overshoot has sent it off in the other direction. Oh, okay. So you can see these orders up here now from around about 40 to about 38. So this area here, and what's happening? Price is pushing up towards it. So you can see how this is acted like a magnet. We went up once, up two, up 3 times, came back, and then had 2 legs, and eventually we pushed through it. So buyers are clearly intended on trying to push that high, and once it got through there, it just continued up. You can see all this liquidity up here slowly dragging price up, and that's kind of why it pushed up. So, you know, you may have saved yourself from a loss or so there. You may have had a thinking, bum, bum, bum. There's a triple test here. You jump in short, pushes up, stops you out. So this, for me, is worth its weight in gold, just to give you that idea of, You know, that little bit of confidence that you're on the right side of the market. So we've got orders above and below here, so I won't be surprised if we get a little bit of sideways. So it does look like that is pushed it off in that opposite direction. As we know, overshoots can result in a bigger correction or a reversal in this case, possibly. Yeah, it's hard to know exactly what's going. I mean, it's not very straightforward today, is it? It's kind of a little bit bouncing around, a little bit unpredictable. You know, sometimes things are a little bit more clear, but in you know today they're not really, are they? Uh, so now there's bound to be. You can see this along here. So if I just move that up, there's bound to be. You can clearly see that is an area. I'd be surprised if there's anything further back. I can't get back far enough, but you can see this area here is creating support and resistance. You can see it here. You can see it here and here as well. So 45 is the strongest I can see. And funny enough, 45 is right smack bang in the middle of this thing I just put here. And that kind of would make sense, wouldn't it? So we push down, we have a little bit of whipping around, we have two legs up. I wouldn't be surprised if this thing hit this level and pushed right down. Now that's just, call it a rough educated guess. I certainly wouldn't trade based on that, but I wouldn't be shocked. And look at that. Where does that measured move go? Smack bang right in the middle of there. Is that random? Maybe it is. So we got a little micro with a break. We've already made a new high there. Be interesting to see how far this thing goes. I tried to use bookmap for a bit, but I don't know. It has broke. Yeah, it does. It's not a magic bullet, mate. It's not magic bullet. I use it to just give me that little bit of confidence. Because you know, most of us suffer with confidence. The trouble is with trading, there's that much failure. It's very hard to really have that belief that you can do it. That's why it comes really slowly. So I use it just to give me that little bit of extra confidence boost because, you know, I go through the same stuff as you guys. Sometimes I get into a trade and I'll start questioning it straight away. But if I've got this backing me up and helping me make better decisions, it'll give me that confidence. And if you notice, since I've started using it, I tend to let all my trades go for 3 points now. So it's definitely helping me. And if I got 20 accounts and I'm risking, I don't know, three, four, what's the ATR? 3.5. If I'm risking 4 points, that's $200. I could lose I could lose $4,000 on a trade. So if it helps me just to get rid of one of those losses, it's worthwhile, isn't it? So yeah, it's more of a comfort blanket if you want if you want to look at it like that. So is this going to push up? My guess is, see, there are buyers here, so there are buyers wanting to push this a bit higher, and you've got those sell orders acting naturally like a magnet. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a little bit of sideways here. Let's stick my neck out and see if we do. See if this closes below here. Let's close that. It's a little bit sideways, but it does look like it's getting a bit higher. We're getting aggressive buyers in as well. Can you see the aggressive buyers? They're more than the sellers. Uh, now it's swapping a bit. So, but you've got buyers quite close to price here. So people are interested in trying to push this higher, I think. So I would be confident to say that we would hit 45 anyway, which is right in the middle. But I wouldn't be surprised if we do a little bit of sideways, because you can see we've got strong orders below, strong orders above, and the price at the moment is more or less in the middle. So unless we get that adjustment in aggressive buyers and sellers, it may go a little bit sideways. You have a Ninja Trader order flow market depth map indicator. It shows the data you are using. No, I don't, bud. I don't. I have. I mean, I've tried looking at order flow before. Trouble is, the thing I like about Bookmap is it's very visual, whereas order flow is kind of looks very technical to me. There's just a bunch of numbers. Now, I'm not saying if you get to know it, it's not a great, it's not a great thing to use at all. It's just when I look at it, just kind of, I don't know, it just kind of thinks, God, that's boggling me brain, if you know what I mean. Whereas this, very visual, and it's you can kind of look at it and you get a feeling for where you think things are going to go. But uh, I haven't, bud. But I'm not saying it's not a great piece of software, because I know a lot of traders absolutely swear by it. And I think it depends, how you trade as well. I go for short 3-point moves, so I don't go for a lot of a lot of swings or anything like that. You can see we're finding a bit of resistance there, aren't we? But you can see strong sellers, strong buyers, which I think is why it may be doing a little bit of a sideways dance at the moment. So I'm also keeping an eye on those as well, seeing if there's an increase in aggressive sellers or buyers here. But at the moment, we are pretty much doing a little bit of sideways. And that's the best example of where to stay out of. So Thomas Wade has got that as a larger channel. Let's try it. The only issue I have with that is if you put it to there, there's an overshoot. If you put it to there, but then we've only really got we got one touch in and one touch. Now you can connect two dots, can't you, wherever they are. So I would say, for me, I don't feel comfortable with that at the moment. I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm not saying I'm right. But at the moment, I'd rather just focus on the small stuff. I think what's more importantly is this level. You can clearly see, boom, 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 how it's rejecting it again and again. We managed to push up. We bounce off it twice. So I wouldn't want to do anything here, to be honest with you. My gut feeling is it's probably going to get into the middle of here to that 45 level. But that's kind of as best as I can do, really. So let's call it there. Now, not only if it hits there, it'll hit that measured move as well. So I'd say if this thing is going to sell off, so we are getting orders up at 50 as well. So once it gets above there, you don't know whether those sellers are going to be absorbed. But I would expect it's going to get into this little sort of beige area here. Just based on what, but there's nothing you can trade here, really. Certainly not from a Pat's point of view. The market depth is also the dynamic DOM. Yeah, I was talking to someone about this the other day. Isn't the DOM more or less this, where you can kind of see the numbers of orders, and obviously, like a visual representation, you can see there the kind of red bit there. Trouble is, there's so much information out there. It's hard to know exactly what everything is. And one thing I've read a lot on my journey is don't overcomplicate things. So you don't know whether I should get into something because it may make things better, or you don't know, maybe I should thinking, I'm okay what I'm doing. I just need to kind of, improve as I go along. You know what I mean? So it's hard to know exactly what to do sometimes. That's the downside of being a retail trader. You don't have any proper structured support in place that you may get if you trade with a bank or some other kind of financial institution of sorts. They'll have support. You'll get a wage. They'll have all the up to date information. They'll know exactly how everything works. All their tech stuff is way more advanced and all that. So, but with these big orders up here, my gut feeling is it's going to hit the center of this bit here. Now it may absorb it and push up, but uh, you never quite know if all of a sudden you get a move in aggressive buyers and sellers that could upset the uh, upset things. Click on Control Center. Click New. Click Super Dynamic. Control Center. Control Center. Where's the Control Center? Oh, hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. Click New. Okay. I think I have. I've got a lifetime license. Or am I using my number or not? I'm not sure. Uh, oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. So let's have a look at this. Yeah, I do have the lifetime license. I don't know whether this is involved, isn't it? Yeah, so you can see sellers up here, you can see buyers down here, can't you? I'm assuming that's how it works, don't they? And you can obviously see the strength of them. To be honest with you, there's not much difference between either of them. So looking at that for me, I don't quite know how I would kind of benefit from it, but obviously, I have had this on before when I first kind of got Ninja Trader, just playing around with it just to see what everything was. But see, I wouldn't know by this is price going up or coming down. I'd say these bars are probably more full to the short side, so perhaps that might mean things will come down. I don't really know. Uh, yeah. I mean, I see a lot of people using it, so it obviously plays a part. But obviously, like anything, you've got to know how to use them, don't you? But they do seem a little bit more full, these bars, than these. But see, at the moment with these, all I'm kind of mainly looking at is this area up here. Now, you can clearly see we tried a bunch of times to get above that and just wasn't having none of it. And you can see those aggressive, I'll just get this out of here. You can see these aggressive sellers and obviously prices rejecting. But we kind of knew this was going to be a challenge because you can see straight away we get into this area and it gets rejected immediately. We've literally ticked into it and it's pulled back. But once I think this starts to go, buyers give up, sellers, lifetime license gives you order flow. Yeah, I believe it does, mate. Yeah, I believe it does. I just don't know how to use the damn stuff, to be honest with you. I have said in the past, I'm going to have a play around with it and learn it and see if I think it can help me. You caught 36. Good on you, mate. I just wasn't sure here, to be honest with you, because I can see these orders now. I knew there was a possibility seeing this that it may not get in there. And my gut feeling was we'll probably hit the middle. We didn't, as it happens, but so there are orders at about 36. So let's see if this thing has a pullback. Let me just draw that channel. So is this a break? Not really. Is that a break? Kind of. Things in it. So let's have a look. So kind of 2 legs up and then down we come. So you would have to think now price is more likely going to clear some of this liquidity out and possibly down the lows. So we'd be looking for a, you can argue there's a small break there. There probably is, but if we had 2 legs up, nice legs up, then I think there's a good chance price is going to come down. Now, those orders there, they're around about 36.5-ish. So if we had 2 legs back and some rejection there near that EMA, then that might be an option to go short. I'd say at the moment. This may turn into a second entry snap. Yeah, it's hard to say, isn't it, really? Trading, there's such a lot of grey area with trading, isn't it? It's not as easy as it kind of looks. You think it wouldn't be difficult to make 3 points the way this thing is swinging, but it's just, it's weird how you don't even get lucky if you wanted to. Even when you're revenge trading, everything just seems to go against you. It's just, that's uncanny, isn't it? I'm going to use the DOM. Yeah, I mean, it's like anything. If you know how to use these bits of software, see, I've had a bookmap on and off, but it's only really maybe the last month or so, maybe month and a half, that I've started using it as an important part of my trading, just to give me that little bit of a confidence that I'm staying on the right side of the market. And it has saved me. Now, not all the trades that I've said are a second entry I would have taken, granted. But I have seen other traders on the Discords taking them, and I thought I wouldn't take that because orders up here and boom, it's triggered them and stopped them out. So I can see that it's got its uses for sure, and a lot of people who use it absolutely swear by it. So see if we get a second entry here. You can see those orders there, and then we'd be coming down to this. I'm assuming that's the VWAP, I believe, I'm pretty sure it is, which is kind of around about 27, which is down here. So you'd expect it to break below that low, but we'd have to have a second entry really, which, are we going to get one? Maybe not. Now, there will be traders, I know, because I've sit on Discord thinking about that. So there's going to be traders thinking about going long somewhere here. There's nothing anyway, but for me, it's just not, I don't like it. Yeah, so Thomas Wade's got that. Trouble is, if he's got that, he may be thinking about long here. And for me, Tony Hayden, but in non-professional traders use candlesticks for trading. That's the clue, yeah. But, you know, I do know people who are making money on candlesticks. It depends how you use candlesticks. We kind of trade price action. So, uh, you know, when people say you can't make money out of candlesticks, they're wrong. You can. They just, you know, may use something else and they do very well. So you can't know how everybody else trades and whether anybody makes money or not. You can't know that. So some people, there was a guy who used to keep popping up on my Facebook page, an Asian guy from the West Midlands saying, you can't make money out of these stupid so-and-so, so-and-so. It's bullshit. You can. Yeah, institutions may use those, but you can't make money. I've made money this year. So you can make money. So let's have a look here. So it's a possible second entry here. There are sellers here, but not a huge amount. Where's that? There are sellers at around about 70, but not a huge amount. That would be a second entry short if it finished. I'm not so sure about this. I would prefer it to come up a little bit higher. But those sellers up there aren't super strong. But I would still prefer it to hit there around about. Yeah, it's around about. It's what it is. It's a tick or two above this, and above that over here is a bearish bar. So I would prefer to get at least close to this. You see, they're popping up a little bit further up as well. So for me, I think this trade here is more about getting above there. Now, it may work. It's very tempting, that. It's very tempting. Don't think it's a bad trade at all, to be honest with you. But their orders at 30. It's just something about this. Now, what I like about my trading at the moment is I either like it or there's something about it I don't. And there's something about this I don't quite feel comfortable with. I will say now a lot of these orders up here are starting to fade, but for me, I'm just sitting tight here. There's not a huge amount of room to the lows, but there's something about this I'm just not really wrapped with. So I'm just sitting tight here. So as I say, I don't think it's the worst trade in the world, but for me, I would have to come out for the lows, and there wasn't even to the lows there. There's only 2 points really, 2.25, but it's got to push through. So as I said, I don't think the trades, but there's just not enough room for me. So yeah, as I say, I don't think it was a bad trade, to be fair. How do you find price action? Because they have different versions. Yeah, it's just so. Yeah, Marco took it. Good on him. So price action for me is just price tends to do the same thing. We have a channel down there, we have a break of it, and then we make a new low. So if you look, it kind of does it wherever you go. So we've got a channel here, we have a break of it, we've made a new high. We have a channel down here, we have a break of it, we have a new low. We've got a channel up here, we have 2 legs down, we push up, make a new high. Channel down here, we have a break of it, make a new low. Channel up here, we have a break, make a new high. So the market tends to repeat itself. So when you've been trading a while and you start to see certain things, you start to be able to build up a picture of where price is more likely going. And that helps you kind of make your decisions. So that's how I look at price action. Yeah, quite a few people took that. As I say, I didn't think it was a bad trade, but if you ask Mackie, he'll say you've got to be out before the lows. So if I get in there, there is 2.25 points. So 2 points realistically for me. I would have to get down to there. I would prefer it to go on a little bit higher, but I don't think it was a bad trade at all. And it clearly would have worked, but I'm okay. I'm okay leaving it. If something doesn't feel right, I just trust my gut feeling. But as I said, I don't think it was a bad trade. Thomas Wade took it. Marco took it. But you can't be frustrated with yourself for not taking, because if something doesn't feel right, you're always best off, because the one thing you can guarantee about not taking a trade is you won't lose a penny. So it's okay sometimes. Doesn't matter where everybody else does it. You can't take trades because you think someone else is taking it. You just have to let it go. Have a look. Honestly, it was not a good trade to me. I'm an over. I don't think it was a bad trade at all. Trouble is, it's very close to the lows already, and so did that one. So that just makes me think. I now tend to, I either like the picture or there's something doesn't feel right with it, and I just trust my gut now, and that's just experience building up. You get a feeling for a picture. We look at a picture, we have a feeling very close to those. It is. I mean, if you're scalping for a point, I'd say yeah, take it, or even maybe a point and a half. But it went down for about 2 points taken away, and I just, I tend to go with my instinct, and that kind of instinct. It's like anything. When you've been doing something quite a while, you just get that feeling for it. Do you like it or do you not? I didn't think it was bad. I said that straight away, but I was happy to let it go because uh, uh, I was just concerned because that came down quite low that we may get a second slightly larger leg up, and that's kind of why. Uh, do you know what I mean? You just don't know whether you're going to push up, hit these sellers here, clear this liquidity, and then have a bigger, stronger push down. So one of them things. Uh, so there are sellers at 35 now. Would I take this, thinking failure or something? Long's going up here? No, I wouldn't, because that to me now is kind of in the middle of this, so it may trigger it and push up. It hasn't triggered it as it happens, but uh, I think you have to kind of do what's right for you. I know people like Bart. He sees a trade, he just takes it. I'm a little bit more conservative, and that works for me. He plays the numbers, so there's I think there's warranty for both sides of the story. You know what I mean? Some people don't mind taking a little bit more of a risk because overall that they'll win, and I don't doubt they will. And some people just hold on for something a bit perfect, and kind of wait. You know what I mean? And that's me at the moment. So whether I'll change that or not, I don't know. Maybe if I've got 20 accounts with $10,000 in, maybe I might have taken that. But for me, I think the risk outweighed uh, the benefits, to be honest with you. So what was the point? So it was about a 3 3/4 point risk. So it came down enough, but if that's a strong enough move, then for me that would come down further. But it's quickly. That's the trouble with this market. It's hard to hold on for a bigger move unless you get a really solid setup because it constantly overlaps itself. So if you'd have taken it, it went down. You'd have got kind of 4.5 points on it. I'd have had to get out there. So it didn't get down a huge amount, but it went down enough. But I still stand by. I don't feel bad about leaving a trade now. The way I see it, if I wait for it to tell me I like this, then those are the trades I try and take, and it works for me okay. So you gotta kind of find how you feel about things and how you kind of react mentally. There's also a degree of objectivity. That trade maybe. Uh, yeah, it's such a fine line, isn't there? Now, most of us here have kind of learned from Mac. Apparently, the guy that some of us listened to yesterday was kind of learned one on one, sat next to the guy for 2 years, and he trades differently than Mac. There are a lot of trades that Mac takes he won't take. He goes for 2 points to 10 ticks, so he's adjusted that. So, although we kind of follow the same kind of ideas, we do adjust things. Some will go for more points, some will go for less, some people go for more riskier trades, some people just go for second entries, whether they're back or not. So there's still quite a bit of variation, and I think that just makes things interesting, doesn't it? I'm exhausted. I need a whiskey. I've got one here, mate. Yeah, I think he did say. Did he say he does about 2.5 hours and then he's like a zombie? Uh, yeah, I suppose it depends how much sort of mental energy you put it into. White lightning. White lightning. Isn't white lightning cider, isn't it? Oh, we have white lightning over here called cider. Yeah, see, Dan took it. He said the trade of the day for sure. It's weird how we can still kind of have different feelings to it. I think the main reason I didn't take it is because there wasn't much room to the lows. Now, I know Dan and Marco trade for 6 ticks. I go for double that. But I only need to take half the amount of trades that they do. So that's kind of the way I see it. But yeah, as I said, I did say straight away I didn't think it was a bad trade. Just wasn't quite enough space down the bottom for me. It's hard to know exactly what's going on here at the minute. Is this kind of a range? Are we now doing something like this? We could be. Let's get rid of this now. Maybe. Down here with a break, she pushes to a new low. See, I honestly couldn't tell you whether I think this is going to go up or come down for a second leg. So if I was looking at the book map, I would say around about 39 there are sell orders, which is there. So if there's traders thinking about shorting here, I would probably leave that for me personally because of this bit of liquidity. And now it hasn't ended up bearish as of yet anyway, so. So you can see them orders there. 7, 8, 9. They're around about 8.5, I think. Somewhere about those. Maybe there. My guess, it's probably going to hit this level. But some may say 1, 2, 3 triple test. Let's go short. There's nothing I'm going to do here at the moment. Now, we have had a channel break. But I'm just sitting tight. It's a little bit congested here. It's going a little bit sideways. Yeah, it's a little bit, mate. Get a bearish bar here anyway. But my gut feeling is it's probably going to hit that. See the mid range of the overnight, yeah. Excuse me. Okay, so we've touched that level. There are orders still sat there. They're slightly above there. So I wouldn't take a short here with a bearish bar because of all these orders up here. There's way more orders up here to short than there are buyers down here. You can clearly see them. 38.75 and above, kind of this whole area really. So if this triggers, you may argue channel break new high. You may even say triple test. There's about to be. It doesn't look the worst trade in the world, and I think that's probably going to trap a few traders. 1, 2, 3 triple test. Just something about it I don't like, partly because there's so many sell orders up here. Now, you may say you got a channel here with a breaking new high, and you got 1, 2, 3 triple test, and this may well come down. You see, we're getting some aggressive sellers here now. But just because of those orders up here, and there's a fair amount of them from 7.5 onwards, I wouldn't take a short here. 875, though, strongest order is there. One tick above that big, well, that bar there. It's probably the same on here, I'm guessing. Did I say 875, which is there? One tick right above that big bearish bar. You can see they're quite strong, and there's some above, and above that, and not as much down below. Now, that doesn't mean aggressive sellers can't all of a sudden start to sell and force this down, but that for me, with those big orders up here, is a red flag. Not only that, what else is it doing? It's holding above that EMA. So that's another reason I would just leave it. See those big orders there. Where are they? One tick above that red bearish bar. So you're bound to get traders going, oh, triple test here, let's go short. Still may hold, but with those orders there, I'll be surprised if it doesn't break above there. Excuse me. Yeah, so there you go. Now, would I have taken that one anyway? Not really. You may argue it's a triple test, but we got a leg up here with a break. A lot of cases we'll have two pushes to the new high. That's only one. Just something about it I don't like anyway, but there will be traders saying triple test, big bearish bar, let's go short there and trigger stop you out. And the only reason that I wouldn't maybe take that, even if I wanted to, is because I could see there were strong orders up here. So it does help you. It certainly helps me anyway. I can't, can't guarantee anybody else kind of had the same experience. Okay, so it's all right. I just lost my track. I was just giving someone some grief. Getting a bit of grief now. Uh, so yeah, two legs up. So we broke above this area here. There's still orders up here, aren't there? So it's not the easiest day today. It's not really. It's kind of swinging about, isn't it? Yeah, I used to hear a lot about ICT. I do hear a lot of people saying they don't trade it more. It's hard to know, isn't it, really? I often wonder if you traded ICT as a price action trader, would that help you make better decisions? You just never know, really, do you? There are probably people out there who trade it, make money, but I don't know. It's hard to say, really. I think whatever strategy you use, just your overall experience and understanding the market's probably going to help you. Mind you, it could be a great strategy, but if you haven't got the psychological side of it, you're kind of not going to make money, really. So it's just, there's no easy answer, really, is there? But one thing I think I've come back to every time is I spent a lot of time trading Pats. I do like Mac. I think he's a nice guy. I think it's a great system. And I think that sometimes you've got to think, just stick to what you know, stick to what you've been doing rather than, trying to find other little bits of niche, little bits of extras to try and, help things. I mean, you guys know I looked at Penguin a little bit, which is very similar to Max. And in the end, I just thought, just stick to what you've been doing for the last 4.5 years. I'm going to be better at this than anything else, put it that way. And I think a lot, as we said, today, I think a lot to do with it. Uh, it's just time, spending time and a lot of time, just practicing, failing, less failures, more winners, getting used to that psychological side. It's not easy, is it? Trading. I got to say, I'll tell you one thing that Vlad did say that I listened to last night was he said, I would never suggest to anyone to learn trading. And I know someone said on the stream maybe a year ago, would I teach my daughter? And I remember saying no, because I wouldn't want to put someone through it. But then you think, is it just me? Is it just the way I trade that makes me have, go through the pain? But then when you speak to other people and you realize a lot of people go through that pain and suffering, then no, I think the answer is I don't think I would teach my daughter it. Unless she came to me and said she specifically wanted to learn, then, uh, maybe a different story. But uh, got to say, if there was someone I didn't like, I'd go, yeah, no problem. I'll show you what to do. But yeah, it's not for the faint-hearted, that's for certain. So have we got a little spike in channel, maybe? Yeah, you've certainly got to have thick skin. I don't know what it is, why I keep coming back. I just consider myself lucky that I can keep coming back after a battering. Uh, but I think from early on when I looked at trading, I could see the potential. And I think that's why I've kept coming back. Uh, but when you're feeling the pain, you've had a bad day, it's very easy to go, oh, I can't do this anymore. I've done it myself. But then a day or two later, you just seem to get that sort of desire to come back. I don't like losing for a start. So, well, that's not strictly true. I don't mind losing, but I don't like someone saying to me, you can't do it. Uh, and I do like a challenge. And you've got to like a challenge to learn to trade, that's for certain. What am I going for? 2 hours, 10 minutes. I've done about 30 minutes on the stream, so I'm just going to take a quick 30-minute break. My mouth is a little bit on the dry side, so I'm just going to pop that on the chart. So I'm going to take a quick 5 minutes just to make a cup of tea. I'll leave things as they are, and I'll be back. Okay, so not the easiest day today. There's no real bigger channel, is there? It's just kind of bouncy, bouncy. So spike and channel, possibly an overshoot. There's some big orders at 50. Is that going to hit 50 in turn? Maybe. So some sellers there, 200 on contracts. Uh, that's slightly more than a leg and a leg, isn't it? But that does seem to be an overshoot. Now, you could argue that that is more like that. That actually looks, I think, a little better, doesn't it? I think. Touch, touch, touch. And it fits kind of nice there. So that is a possibility, I think. So you can see there are buy orders around about 3.5 there. Is it? So 2.5 and 5, 3.5, 4.5, 2.5. So it's about 4, something like that. So there are buyers around about there. So maybe we get a couple of legs, bounce off the top here, and then push up to here. But you can see there are buyers there, and there are sellers at 50. So if we get 2 legs down, bounce off this area, that might not be. See if I can get any feedback about the chart. Might just hit that 50 now, actually. Hmm. Can you get a link to it? Let me have a look, see if I can get one. See if I can get a link for you, bud. Can't see anything on here, mate. I think there might be one still on the Facebook group. Let me have a look. Where's the post button? Ah, paste. Okay, give that a go, mate. I've just got that off. Oh, that's too much. No, it's just I'm trying to post it. It's a massive letters. It's 439. You can only post 100. So best thing to do, mate, is I'll show you. Uh, yeah, I'll show you, and you can go on there. But if you go onto this Facebook group here, Max, you probably are anyway. And that's the one there, I think. When was that? It was a couple of days ago. So yeah, I think that's it there, bud. When I right click it and bring it on to post it, it's a massive letters. Won't let me do it for some reason. So that's it there. Uh, don't expect too much. That's all I'm going to say, and we'll leave it there. Yesterday, yeah, anytime, mate. Yeah, yeah. Don't expect too much. Don't get your hopes up. Don't think I'm going to sit in tonight with a nice Chinese, put my feet up and watch something really fantastic, because you may be disappointed. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to leave your judgment down to you. Okay, so you can see orders there around about 45, which is there. So channel break. If you get two legs down here, it's hard to say. Depends whether you like that channel or not. What I will say is if we pick up these sell orders, I know these big orders are at 50, one tick above there. So if we can get something good here, I may have a go at it. I would want to hit this area and take out any possible liquidity there. So maybe a little channel there with a break and a new low. I would feel much more comfortable bouncing off this top here. Uh, it's just hard to say at the moment. What is that? A load of orders at 50 and just above. But this, I'm just not super stoked with some reason. We have eaten any orders yet. I think the better option would be for the higher low here. It's hard to say. Yeah, I mean, it kind of looks like it could be a bigger channel down, but I'm keeping it tight and saying that. But I think the safer option will be the higher low here anyway. See on here, there's 3 bars with a break and a new low. On there, there's 2 bars. So if in doubt, I always just leave them anyway. But it has kind of bounced off the top there. I can take that up a little bit. So that's a plus, I will say. So there's very little in the way of orders down here, but a huge amount at 50.51. So you'd have to think it's going up. But here's the but. Doesn't mean it's going to go straight up. We could have a leg down, another leg down. It could test this line again before it goes up. So I'm not a fan of this anyway. It's just a little bit too naff. It's not super clear. Now, I think there's a good chance price is going to go up and hit this, but it doesn't mean it's going to do it now. As soon as you jump in here, it goes up. We could come down, stop that out, go sideways for a bit, drop out at the bottom, nice big bullish bar, higher, low, and off it goes. So it could do a bunch of things. So I'm just sitting tight here. I mean, you could argue there's 3 bars, then we got a little break, a new low. That's a possibility. You could argue we got that. So it's just one of those things. So at the moment, what I am doing is nothing. Safest way, I think. But I think if we're doing this properly, that is probably somewhere how we would do it. 3 bars there with a little break and a new low. Having said that, I'm doing nothing. Ooh. So there are orders coming in at about 48 as well. Sellers at about 48. So you've got to pay attention to that. Now, we've bounced off here a few times. Now let's see if this becomes support. It never bothers me finishing a day without a trade. Never in the slightest. It's a good way to try and get your head around that as well. Don't let it bother you. It means you've done your job. I haven't seen any trades that have really jumped out at me. Now, it'd be easy to trade trades like this, maybe, 2 legs back or whatever. But at the time, we didn't have this bigger chart. All we had is this. So whereas I've got that at the time, you got to leave this. But Mac will mark these and he'll mark a buy here, a buy here, buy here. But you don't know that that's going to happen until it's happened. So that's why Mac will mark a dozen trades in a day, and we may see one, maybe two. Because, you can't take shorts here because you don't know it's really confirmed until it comes up here again and again. And then later on, maybe you can. So we've gone down and now we're going across, and often we'll come down. So we'll have down, across and down, and then we may shoot up. So, and I say may, so I can see those sellers at around about 48, which is there. So we may trap some longs here. It may hit this seller's ear and it may come down for a second leg. So I've got that in my mind as well. So let's say there's a leg down there. We know there are sellers at 48. We know there are some at 50, 51 up here. But this is my first point of interest. We've got a bull bar here. It may come up here, take out that short, bounce off this line and possibly come down for a second leg. Yeah, so Taylor's taking a trade. But his bars are quite different than mine. I don't think he'll mind if I bring it in. I'll hide his thing. But he's got kind of channel break new low. He's got a little bullish bar here. It's clearly working. Well, he's taking it up to the top. I'm pretty sure it will do. But I don't know how many bar. So he was the one that got me into trading a second chart. I have a feeling he may he may trade more than two. So it's hard to say. See these orders here, there, they've just been yanked, I think, unless they've been taken. They may have been taken. So is this going to come down now, or is it going to push straight up to this here? For some reason, he's got these things on here, this data, which is covering those aggressive buyers and sellers there, which is a bit of a pain in the arse, because that's what I like about this. So it's possible we do this. Now it hit this level, and what's happening now, it's looking like it may pull back. So I wouldn't have got in here, to be honest with you. There are traders who would have got in there thinking we got a channel break new high and so on. But you can see what happened when it hit those orders. Pushed up and started to come down. Now it may turn and push up. It's hard to say. But at the moment, I'm surprised I've not seen any orders down here. But we may still get aggressive sellers, which I can't bloody see because this guy's got those boxes on which I don't quite know why they are. What is the name of your tool on the top right, please? Top right. Are you on about one of these at the top here, bud, are you? These three little bits here? Top left. You on about one of these here? Hold on a minute. Are you on about this? I'm just thinking about the screen. This is my chart. You're talking about bookmap on the left. Not sure what you mean, buddy. So this is called bookmap. Now you can purchase it. You can also watch it free on YouTube because some other guy has it running. And what this shows you is where sellers are. So the darker the area, the less orders, the brighter and the redder the area, the more orders. Bookmap like this. So all it's showing me is I can see there are all sell orders at 51 to 50. which is around this area. So if I'm deciding to trade short here, I might be thinking, hold on a minute, this looks okay and we're going to go down. But if I can see a bunch of strong sell orders up there, these act like magnets. So it's a bit hard to describe, really. I'm not very well at explaining things. You'd be better off there's dozens of videos out there, mate. But all this does is if I think we've topped out here and I want to go short here, I can see there are massive sell orders here, and chances are it's going to push up and get these sell orders because they act like magnets. So it may just keep me out of a bad trade, if that makes sense. If I haven't explained it, sorry. But there are a bunch of videos out there which well, they are going to explain things a little bit better than I can. But can you see how that now is looking like not so good trade? Because we can see these sell orders and it's pushing towards them. They start at about 50, which is there, and they go up to about 51, maybe a fraction more than 51, somewhere around about there, which, funnily enough, is right above the highs here. So that's telling me this is more likely going up. So not that I would take a sell order there, but people may think leg down, leg down. Well, I certainly did. I had it there as a possibility. Not that I would have taken it. I'd be looking for 2 legs down and then possibly a higher low towards the tops. But you can see how these can maybe help you. You're welcome, mate. There's dozens of videos out there. All I'll say is it's not as difficult as it looks. It looks like a right bloody mess, doesn't it? It looks like a bad art attack, but it's not that difficult to read. So maybe it'll help you. So you may, if you get a bearish bar, you may think channel down, 2 attempts to push higher and down we come. But with these orders here, sell orders, chances are it's acting like a magnet and you may get trapped going short for it to just do this. That higher low wasn't good for you, Lance. This one here. The only issue I have, mate, is maybe we get a second leg down, especially as we had this big drop here. So I don't know whether it's going to trap longs and pull down just a little bit lower. So I left it, bud. I fell second entry long. Drop the bears. Yeah. Just not super sure at the moment. It's not really been an easy day. And sometimes when it's not been an easy day, you can kind of get a little bit I don't know, a bit unsure that are you reading it right. You know, sometimes these charts are relatively easy to read. That a lot of times they're very clear. But it's not brilliant today. Now, if you're taking a trade, you may think otherwise, but there's nothing that I think I would have. The only one I think wasn't a bad trade was this one. I left it because there wasn't a huge amount of space at the lows, but it did work nonetheless. So I did say it wasn't terrible, but it's just a couple of things about it I just wasn't too wrapped with. So I will say that little higher low there was relatively small risk. So, well, there you go. Look, tick above, tick below, 1.75 points. Sometimes it's just worth having a go. But my concern is we take a second leg down here. And when we had that one, I thought we may do. So we've still got orders up here. And you may say, well, there's a second entry short there. I wouldn't take a short there for obvious reasons. So there are sellers and around about the 52-ish, which is about there, above there. So left it as well. Yeah. Sometimes things just work, but if you know, the simple thing is, it doesn't matter what anybody else does. If it doesn't feel right, you're always best off leaving it, because there are no guarantees in trading apart from, if you don't take a trade, you will guarantee not to lose any money. So that is the only guarantee you've got. So I think if you're not sure, you're always best off leaving it. It's good practice to do that. It is. I'm okay with that. It's one of my stronger points. Believe me, I've got weak points, plenty of them. But that's one of my stronger points. It doesn't affect me leaving a trade, even if it goes on to work. I'm quite happy with that. I get no disgruntled feelings at all. I'm quite happy. I kind of stand by, what I do a bit now, because I tend to just, if I like the look of it, I'll take it. If I don't, I'll leave it. Yeah, patience was always my worst point. I can't tell you how many times I was patting myself on the back after doing nothing for 3 hours, and at the end of a stream, I take a stupid trade. Uh, but it really is a really important part, and it's the part that I seem to struggle with most now. It seems to be one of my strongest parts. But as I say, I have got plenty of weak parts. I think we all have strong points and weak points in whatever we do, really. So it's hard here, isn't it? Uh, it may go a bit sideways. We've got a couple of legs up in a bearish bar there. At the moment, I can only see sellers at 50 and sellers at around about the 51 and a half, 52, which is these two areas. So based on what I can see here, my guess is it's still going to push into this area. Now, whether it bounces here first and goes up, that I can't tell you, but my guess is we'll hit 50 and possibly this area. I wouldn't swear to it. I don't know why he's got them little boxes covering the aggressive buyers. Well, I say aggressive buyers. It's the imbalance between the buyers and sellers. But after this break, two pushes to a new high, that channel has played out. So you possibly be thinking we're coming down now. So we get two legs down. You may get into a long. It's hard to say. But at the moment, for me, I don't think this channel is finished moving up a bit. Let me just see if there's any type of a possible larger channel there. It's possible. We kind of get a little bounce there and it works there a bit. So it may be, but that mean we may get a second leg down to this area and then push up. I think it'll go up higher. Whether it does it now or whether it has two legs back first, I don't know. But based on these big sellers, and they're fairly chunky, based on those, for me, price is going to go up. So it gives you an idea of where these sellers are waiting with money. I'm just going to get rid of that for a minute. But once you get some skills, if you sit here patiently and wait for good trades and wait for one to jump out at you, you will start to slowly get more winning trades and losing trades. See, I can't see whether there's aggressive sellers selling there because you've got them boxes on here, really. That's the benefit of buying it yourself. But to get that little bit there, the whole package costs $100 a month, plus $34 a month for data. And I don't use this literally tick by tick. I use it just to give me an overall picture. So it doesn't matter whether it's a few seconds late, but I do value that. So I'm hoping you may get rid of that. I don't see the point in having it there if you're covering an important part of information. So leg back. See, maybe we get two legs back here. but I do believe price is likely to hit that. So we'll see. Which, funnily enough, is right on the top. So if we can get some strong support here. So if you got into a trade here, you'd have got your profit anyway, but I think it's fair. Uh, Although I can't see liquidity down here. There is some, but I think that is a given that that should go. Okay, so that is now cleared up. So see what happens. Now, sometimes it'll bounce off these areas and it won't get through. But while they're there, I'd have to kind of do something. So, see now. No, even if it was, it's gone past there. Maybe a spike in a channel. It's hard to say. See, in most cases, it'll get to these levels, but that's what I mean. Without seeing those aggressive sellers, I can't see whether there's a lot more sellers than there are buyers. But we have a bunch of times hit these levels and struggled. But you can see all this area, can't you? We've managed to break above it all. Is this now on its way down? See, big sellers there, just above here. Now, I dare say there's going to be traders buying that. I wouldn't, because we're hitting some sellers here now. I think we've hit them, so we are looking like we're possibly testing the underside of this. See, we hit them sellers and absorbed them, so it is frustrating not being able to see that. There's a slow day. It is moving, but it's a bit of an odd day, isn't it? It's slow as in just a bit. It's just a bit odd, isn't it? It's just it's kind of grinding along, not really giving much away. So I wouldn't take a long gear. I wouldn't necessarily take a short at the moment. I'm just there is two legs down, although that second leg. Trouble is, sometimes it'll do that. It'll trick you into going long, and then we'll end up having a channel down. So I can see that they're always up there. Not as much. Well, yeah, there kind of is. What are they about? 52, which is there. So I've said for a while I think it'll get an ear, but we are trying a bunch of times, so maybe it won't. Uh, excuse me. So we've had a break. We've had 2 pushes to the new high. That technically is a second entry long, that bar there. So if we get a lower high here, that might not be a terrible trade or a second entry short. Because if you look, we've got 2 legs down, big bullish bar that's triggered. It's going a bit sideways here. It's struggling to get up. So if we get a lower high here, or a second entry short, either or, whatever you want to call it, I don't think that's terrible to test these lows. A fair sized bar, and I think there's a reasonable enough place. Yes and no. That channel has played out now, in my opinion. We've had 2 pushes to a new low, and we are pushing down. I mean, it would have to look right. It would have to look like it was trapping that long. So there are, you can see them sellers just above 55 here. So if we can get a second entry short, we may get enough sellers to push. Yes, there is some up here. But that's quite a way away at the moment. So see, another way to think about it is we've got 2 legs down. If I was in a trade there going long, nice big bullish bar, how would I feel now? Would I start to think I've made a mistake? That's another way to look at it. I'd be going, damn it, I'm looking like I've messed up now. So does that mean there's more chance it's got to come in below there? I'd say probably, but it ain't over yet. We may get a second entry short. So at the moment, you know, if you, where's price at the moment? There's what? There's 3 points to the lows. Fell second entry short. See, I don't know whether I want to go short or long here. We've had 2 legs up. We've had a new high, so we've had a break of a channel plus 2 pushes up to a new high. So this may be reversing, and it may trap longs. I'm not saying it definitely will, but I think this is something that Vlad was maybe talking about yesterday. If we get a bullish bar here and it triggers and comes down, I think this may be coming down. Now, don't take my word for that. It's just an observation at the moment. If you took that, it's considered it's a big, strong bar. It's not really going very far, is it? Doesn't mean it won't. But you see those orders at just above 45, which is here. There are sellers here. So that possibly may mean a second entry short. You're trapping a higher low there and a big bull bar. And what are we doing here? We're testing the underside of this. If it's not clear, best thing to do is just leave it alone. I would prefer to hit these sellers here. That would give me a little bit more confidence if it came down bearish. Because you may argue there may be a few sellers there. So I would prefer it to push up and hit that. And if it hits those sellers and ends up bearish here, that will be a second entry short. This may come down. And this may be what Vlad was talking about, break new high. There may be sellers thinking about going higher. Sorry, buyers rather. Just be interesting to see whether we get any kind of reaction when we hit them sellers there. At the moment, see, prices are under the EMA with the exception of this bit here. We've pushed down, we've got 2 legs up. It makes a difference how this finishes. It's a doji, so is that rejections or acceptance that he was talking about? It's hard to say at the moment, so that makes things a little bit more difficult. What you wanted to do is push it above there and instantly pull back. But you're going to have bulls trap there, no argument. You're going to have bulls trap there as well. So my guess is it's probably going to pull back. I would prefer it to hit this level. You can see those orders, maybe 7. So it's hard to say. It may pop up a bit more. it's just an area of a bit uncertainty here for me. Playing the larger range, a second entry short would be nice. So I'm not the only one thinking about a possible second entry short. Definitely a few people thinking about a second entry short. There's just no signal bar or anything here, really, is there? So. And with these orders up here, you've got to pay attention to them. Around about where you can see between about 7 and 7.5, there's the best part of 500 plus contracts. So around this area. All I'd say, if I was in that trade there, I'd be concerned now. So you've got a big bull bar plus another strong bull. It looks better off here. Big strong bull bar. Now, it is going sideways, so it may hold, especially as we've got those up there. It doesn't look like it's triggered it and instantly pulled back. It's still kind of holding. It's the ones that frustrate me, that as soon as you get in and they start messing around here and they never come back up to break even to get you a chance to get out. But with these orders here, you can tell exactly where they are, but the strongest ones are at 750, which is a fraction above there. So let's put it in the middle. So this sort of area. But there is always a possibility we may end up having something like that. Who knows? There's no short here anyway, really. There's certainly no short bar. Ah, you see this orders disappear there, and they've moved up a little bit, about 49. So you see them just disappear. We never hit them. I don't think we hit them anyway. About 47. No, we didn't. Ah, he's moved that. Thank God for that. So you can see there are more aggressive buyers at the moment. There are double the aggressive buyers. So that for me is not a channel. If we've only had one push down, maybe it turns into something later. Who knows? But for now, let's just get rid of it. Take that. Although it does look relatively broad, it could still be a channel up. Those types of channels, really, I think they're best off when they're like that, broadly apart. Then you can't really confuse them for a channel as much. Maybe at a bit lower. That type of. You wouldn't really think about that as an uptrend, then, would you? So the broader these legs are, the more chance they've got pulling back, at least to the EMA. Second entry short. You're about here. See, I wouldn't take this at the moment. I'll tell you why, because you can see those strong orders there. There's 619 contracts. Not much below. Now, if there's aggressive sellers selling there, that may be an option. But the reason I wouldn't take that is I'm not sure whether that is a channel yet. It's not super clear. But I think it's more likely going to hit, let's say it's 48.75. let's say 48.75, which is about there. I think price is more likely going to hit that. Now, I could be completely wrong, but these save my neck more than they don't, for want of a better word. I can see that the fascination with it. Yeah, we got a channel down, 2 legs up. For me, if I was going to take that one, the safer option would be the lower high, getting close to these stops here. But at the moment, if you take that there, let's say it finished on its lows and you took it a tick, you've still got 3.25 points just to get to that first level of liquidity. So I would have to hold here personally. Visually, I don't think it looks too bad, but because of those big sell orders here and further up, way more than's below, for me, my bet is it's more likely going to push here. So that would save me a potential loss. Now, it hasn't triggered here anyway, so it has on this side, but the bar wasn't as good. So that's how I can differentiate with what I think is not looking like a bad trade and something that, hold on a minute, there's a big load of sell orders here, so I think I'm better off just waiting. Now, if all of a sudden you get a mass of sell orders in, it may not make a difference, but at the moment, I'm just sitting tight. We are getting more sellers, so that bearish bar has triggered. As long as those aggressive sellers stay higher, this thing may come down. See how there's slightly more buyers now and price is pushing up a little bit. It's just a little bit too unclear for me. You can see how many times price bounced across support there. So at the moment, I'm just, those big sellers up here are telling me to be careful going short. I don't think the kind of legs up look terrible, but it was enough for me just to sit tight. I think a lot of this now is going to have to do with buyers, aggressive buyers and sellers. And there is strong riders at 50, about 52, which is there above price. Hard to say, really. But I see the interest in that for sure, and it may hold. It certainly made a bunch of attempts to push up. Uh, yeah, you can see aggressive sellers. There are more at the moment, so they're trying to push it down. I mean, after this big move up, there's bound to be sellers here. If you did enter it, it's starting to go a bit sideways there, so that would be a little red flag for me. But you never know. Sometimes it does hold. But just the fact that there are big sell orders there, uh, I would have to just leave that. How did it go for? So So you'd have got a point and a quarter off that. It would have to push through. So it wouldn't have been good for me. As I say, it's not over yet. See, the beauty is, without bookmap, you wouldn't know there was sellers up here. Definitely a battle going on. No argument there. Long day today. I think I'm done in a couple of minutes. I think just see what happens here. My wife's home now. In a time. Yeah, so it was a good move for me to leave that because it wouldn't have worked for me. So it's just another example of how bookmap can really give you that little bit of an edge. There was such a large amount of sellers there for me. That's why I kind of left it. I think any more than the point, and you'd have got burnt there. But it's not an exact science, but it definitely gives you that little bit of information, which gives you a wee bit more of an edge. So on that note, I'm going to leave you guys there. So I appreciate your company for today, Monday, 1st of December. So this is the run up. So make sure you get your hands in your pockets and start doing your Christmas shopping. Don't leave it till the last minute like we've done. We usually do. So I'm going to leave you guys to it. So if you carry on trading, best of luck. But I'm going to leave you there and I'll be back same time tomorrow. So have a great evening. Stay safe. We will do it all again tomorrow. Bye for now.